Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of the new book, Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, available now in paperback, and Kindle books, and mid-October 2019 it will be available on Audible books. So a quick announcement, if you're viewing this in October 2019, I've just added a new time slot for Twin Flame readings. The 30-minute time slot is $89, the 60-minute time slot is $175, and the 90-minute time slot is $250. For the 60 and 90-minute readings this month, I'm offering a free author-signed copy of this book, Twin Flame Romance, if you book it this month in August 2019 with me and do the reading within the month. And if you are getting the 90-minute reading at the $250 level, I will, in addition to Twin Flame Romance, I'm going to throw in the Audible copy of Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy. Now, if you are currently reading Twin Flame Romance and you leave a review on Amazon, email me. I will give you a free Audible version of Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, which is a great book about healing. You will love it, honestly. It's just a great way to get your chakras aligned and learn a little bit more about the chakras if you're unfamiliar with how the chakras work. Today, we are talking about awakening for the unawakened twin. What must it be like? So I'm going to use a little bit of humor in this video, meaning that we're just going to kind of look at things from a different perspective during the course of this video. Now here's why. It came to me, I was doing tons of readings these past few weeks, and it really came to me what awakening must be like for the unawakened twin. So this takes me back to, I've had this reoccurring dream, this really bizarre reoccurring dream that happens, I don't know, maybe like once a month or once every other month or a few times a year, who knows? Sometimes it happened more frequently and sometimes it happened less frequently. I just don't know. So it's a weird dream, but it's so cool because I want to know, I want to know more about it. I want to know why I have this dream. So the dream is as follows. My father used to live in a city called Troy, Michigan, and I loved his house. He had the most awesome house in the world. I just loved it. Growing up as a kid, it was a big house, and growing up as a kid, I just thought, oh my God, this is the coolest house. I love living here. It's the best house. And in my dream, my father is living in that house, but I go into the basement, and as I'm opening up a door in the basement, now the basement, it's really funny, I'm trying to think back. In that house, the basement wasn't finished initially, then it was finished, or it was partially finished, or I don't even know. That's a really good question. But in the dream, the basement was finished. It was a finished basement with carpeting and walls and everything. But then all of a sudden, in the dream, I would open up a door, and the door opened up to like a billion more rooms. There were so many more rooms in this house. And so in the dream, I remember that I would be like going down into the basement to check out more of the house. And then I'd open this door and it was just like room after room after room after room. And the house was so much bigger than I ever thought it was. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, I could go and stay in this room and this room, and each room was decorated very differently. And in the dream, I never could open all the doors to all the rooms, but I really wanted to. And it was just this amazing discovery of something new. And I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest house ever. And so that brings me to awakening for your twin. So if you are the more awakened twin, if you will, if you're the one who had the recognition of your twin flame and started doing research and started seeing the signs and had all the signs and symptoms of being a twin flame and discovering the unfolding of the journey. If that's you watching this video, which it's likely that it is you, just know that your twin flame might not have the awakening in the same way that you had it. Meaning there's always a delay between your discovery, or the person who's awakened's discovery of the twin flame journey, and the other twin, the other person. So it really came to me when I was doing readings this week and last week, and like reading after reading, it was almost like it was really, really hard to capture, if you will. It was hard because everybody in life has a particular outlook or overview look of what life is, right? So, for example, you are a kid, you see your parents, you grow up, you see that, okay, in order to make it in this life, I need to go to school, maybe go to college, maybe learn a trade, maybe then afterward get a job, and perhaps get married and have kids and buy a home, and just all of these things that compose in life, that life is comprised of, right? Like everyone has this vision or view of, if I do A, B, C, D, E, and F, then I am living a normal life. I'm living a life like my parents or like my grandparents, or how I was taught to live. Or maybe I was taught this through cultural upbringing or societal upbringing, or just whatever it is that formed you and made you you, that brought about a sense of normalcy into your life, into your being, and into your trajectory in life, as far as what life is supposed to look like if I am a good citizen, if I'm doing things according to the way I have been taught, right? So imagine this. Imagine, and this might be your case too until you were awakened to the twin flame journey. Imagine this. You're going through life doing what you are supposed to do. You're going to school. You're getting that new job. You're purchasing that new home. You're getting married. You're having a baby. You're doing all of the things that you were taught meant that you had a normal life, okay? You're just going along doing the things that people do. Then all of a sudden, you're hit like a lightning bolt, and you realize, oh my gosh, there's so much more to this. There's so much more to life. I now see things from a more spiritual perspective. I see things from a sense of duty and purpose and a higher calling. And now you're like, oh my God, things don't look the same at all. All of the things that gave my life meaning, and I thought gave my life meaning, don't have the same meaning that they did before. And so now you're struggling with this concept of, well, I now see that there's something more. There's something called a higher spiritual connection and a higher calling. But I was taught that I'm doing everything right already. Like, I'm going to school, I'm getting my job, I'm buying my home, I'm getting married, I'm having a baby, I'm buying that car, I'm going on vacation. Like, I'm doing things that are pretty normal. And I'm okay with my relationships. But now I have this tugging at me that is calling me into a different direction. So now what do I do with that? So imagine what life must be like for your twin flame if you have been awakened and doing research on twin flames for the past 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and your twin flame has been looking at life through the lens of, I'm doing everything pretty much that I'm supposed to do. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have problems. Everybody has problems. They might have problems with their finances or addictions or family relationship problems, whatever it might be. But all in all, they're trying to live a relatively normal existence, a relatively normal life. And so just imagine what it is like when all of this sudden you're hit like a bolt of lightning with the realization that there's something more. And so now you're faced with this choice of, now what do I do? Now what do I do? It's a really, really difficult choice. It's important that you put into perspective the challenges that come up with a spiritual awakening, or an awakening, or a recognition that, oh my gosh, now I'm in this spiritually connected relationship with this person that I feel such a strong affinity for, but I have A, B, C, D, E, F, or G going on in my current life right now, and I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with this. So let me just give you a few examples that have come up over the past weeks. I'm not even telling you that this has been, just recently, but these are common, recurring examples. So I'm not pointing out any one person's specific example. I'm just saying these are common themes that have occurred again and again and again. So lo and behold, someone just gets married. They found their bride. They found their groom. They just get married. And now you, Mr. or Mrs. Twin Flame, or Miss or Mr. Twin Flame, come into the picture. Hello, I'm here, spiritual awakening. And your twin just got married. And now they're like, I thought I was doing the right thing. I married the person I was in love with. That's what you're supposed to do. And now I meet this person. Now what? So that's just one example. Another example is Mr. or Mrs. Twin Flame gets married, and now their wife is pregnant, about to have a child. And then you, Miss Twin Flame or Mr. Twin Flame, just pops up, hello, Twin Flame, spiritual awakening. And now your twin is like, has this large sense of responsibility. Like, what do I do now? I got married. I did the thing that I was supposed to do in life according to normal life standards. And I'm awaiting this child. Now, if I make this choice over here, this child's life is affected forever. Another scenario. Hooray, I graduated from college. I got my degree. Here's my degree. I get a job. My job's in Mumbai. 5 weeks before I leave for Mumbai. Hello. Hello. I'm your twin flame, spiritual awakening, explosion. Now what do I do? I just got my degree. I just got a job offer. What do I do now? So you realize that spiritual awakening for the unawakened is as complicated as finding out that the house you've been living in has about 100 more rooms that now you have to clean and decorate, right? I was looking at it from a perspective in my dream. I was looking at it from a perspective as, oh, this is so cool. There's so much more to explore here. But if you look at it from life's perspective, it's not like, oh, look, it's so cool. There's so much more to explore here. From life's perspective, you could look at it like, oh my God, there's so much more to clean. Now I have to hire an army of housekeepers to clean those 100 more rooms and get interior decorators to come and decorate those 100 more rooms, or run an Airbnb or something. So you understand that the spiritual awakening and the discovery of being a twin flame and the discovery of who you are as a twin to your twin flame might not be all roses to them. Now, we have mentioned a billion more reasons why the twin flame connection can be difficult. We've mentioned those. Dark night of the soul, the purging of the wounds of childhood and the wounds of past lives. We've discussed all of these, and all of them are discussed in my book, Twin Flame Romance, as well. So we've discussed all of these. But really keep into perspective that when you think you've been living in a house with 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, and all of a sudden you find yourself living in a house with 100 more rooms, you've got a bigger problem on your hands. You've got this, even though it's kind of cool and maybe there's some business opportunities there for those 100 extra rooms, but it's still something that you really need to think about and consider. And also, the one thing that I have actually noticed the most when coming to the realization that the awakening is not an easy thing for the other twin especially, is that your whole outlook on how life operates and what it should be is completely shattered. So that is a huge thing right there. When you thought, for example, that all there is to life is doing the things that I was taught to do as a child, and also what my parents modeled or my grandparents modeled or whoever you had as a role model modeled for you, is that you thought that this was the path to happiness, right? So all the things I mentioned before that we normally do in society to get through life, you think like, oh, that is actually the path to happiness. When you are awakened, you become aware that all of those things that you thought were the path to happiness and bliss are not the path to happiness and bliss. So that can be a rude awakening. That being said, cut yourself some slack for being spiritually awakened, cut your twin some slack for being spiritually awakened, and realize and recognize that if your twin is trying to be the responsible person that they're trying to be, that it's not an easy choice. It really isn't. That this outlook into something bigger than what they thought they had signed up for in this life, it's so hard to be able to navigate that once you come to that realization. Now, many of them might even be like, I don't want this realization. Shut it off. I don't want it anymore. And that's why they run from it, because they don't want to face the realization that there is a bigger calling here. There's a much, 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 much bigger calling in this world, in this life, than what we thought we were bargaining for when we came here and we signed up to come here. So I hope that gives you guys some perspective. I know it was a little lengthy, but I just wanted to give you guys that perspective of what it is like to be awakened after thinking that life is one thing and realizing it's totally something else. That's a huge shocker. It really is. So please cut yourself a little slack, be easy on your twin for that reason, and just know that whatever's happening to you is not happening to you, it's happening for you. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Share this video with other twin flames, and thank you so much for buying a book or 2 or 3 and pledging your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin, and I will see you in the next video.